mean? That's the poor man's exhaust. The 4-cylinder Boxster isn't a car that I want at all. It's rubbish, it's not a Porsche. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Welcome as well to the Porsche 718 Boxster GTS. And some people say Porsche, other people say Porsche. I don't care. This is the, let's say, the ugly duckling of the 718 range, and not necessarily because it looks bad, because as you can clearly see it looks pretty darn good to me. It's because right here next to this GTS there is a 4 and a 0 missing, and what that means is that this is the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged Boxster engine. This was quite a departure in terms of cylinder count. It's got 2 less cylinders, it's got less displacement, and it's got turbos. So at the time Porsche decided to do this car, I don't know for what reason, maybe it was because of the EU or something like that. At the time I do remember that people went mad when they saw that this car was being launched. In today's review, what I'm going to try to figure out and to show you is whether this engine is as bad as people make it sound, and if it does or does not spoil the fun of this car. Ultimately, I'm trying to answer the question, which is, should you even consider a 4-cylinder turbocharged Boxster, or should you not? Because looking online, the idea that I always had was the 4-cylinder Boxster isn't a car that I want at all. It's rubbish, it's not a Porsche, it doesn't have 6 cylinders, yada yada yada. So that's the question that I'm going to try to answer with this video. As I've already briefly mentioned, stacked between this axle and the seat, there is a 2.5 liter Boxster 4 turbocharged, producing 360 horsepower, 420 Newton meters, and that's good for roughly 4.3 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, or 0 to 60 if you're in the land of the Americas. And it's also good for 280 or 290 kilometers per hour. I can't remember. I would love to show you the engine, but that's just not possible with these Boxsters and Caymans. So you have an engine, you gotta believe you have an engine, but you cannot see the engine that you paid for. And I guess that's also true with 911s these days, but it has always been this way with Boxsters and Caymans. Going over the boring stuff first to get that out of the way. If you want to see the fun part, just skip ahead. But if you really want to know all the details about this car, stay here. This car has 2 trunks, the front and the actual trunk. To open it, you need the key. It's a very, very large space, actually. It's very square. You can fit probably 3 suitcases, 4 suitcases stacked on top of each other, even more if you use soft bags. But this is a very, very usable cargo space. Same thing with the back. There isn't a way to open the trunk from the outside. You can only do it from the inside of the car or with the key. So not being able to see your engine is a drawback, yes. However, you do get another very, very spacious space to put your stuff in the back. It's not nearly as big as the one in the front. However, it is very spacious. You can fit 2, 3, 4 bags, maybe here, backpacks like this. And I'm sure it's useful for your everyday shopping, because that's what you use these cars for. The owner of this car, he is an enthusiast, and as such, this car is not exactly standard. He did a few modifications. He installed this splitter from TechArt. He installed this little carbon fiber piece, which we don't think it's real carbon fiber, from TechArt as well. These BBS FI, which look actually very beautiful. He also installed this induction duct from the 4 liter, not this one. It looks more beautiful, as well as this spoiler. This spoiler is from the Spider RS, if I'm not mistaken. Moving on to the inside of the car. The 718 range isn't as well trimmed as the 911. However, you will find that it It's got leather on the dash, leather on the doors as well, leather on the center console, and take into consideration that this is the GTS. So the GTS does come with a lot of bells and whistles, which the base model does not come. These seats, for example, this specific car did not come with these seats. The owner, he installed these seats and they absolutely transform the way that the car feels. I do believe that the GTS does come from factory with Alcantara steering, with Alcantara dashboard, and this one was probably upgraded, not entirely sure. I think it also comes with carbon fiber trim, which this car has. However, if you look at the bottom part of the dash, it is in Alcantara. Only the top and the top of the door is in Alcantara. Getting inside with these seats does require you to do a little bit of gymnastics, but it's not all that bad, to be honest. And once you get in, you actually fit like a glove. Thin-rimmed steering wheel like Porsche usually does. These seats, a specific thing about this car is that the owner, he felt that the car still drove a little bit high with the rails. So this car, it does not move the seat front and back. It does not move the seat up and down. It's fixed to the actual chassis, and that's the way it is. Luckily, he is roughly my height, so the driving position for me is almost spot on. I would have it ever so slightly further back, but as it sits, it's incredible. Everything is where you'd expect from Porsche. You have here the climate control, your navigation, all these buttons for suspension, the wing, exhaust. This car, as a place to be, it is very nice, actually. These lovely cup holders, which are now extinct, unfortunately. You can have your cup holder right here. It can be all neatly stowed away. And then when you're done using it, it's just a matter of closing it. And it's a shame that Porsche don't do this anymore. Up there also Sport Chrono, paddles for the PDK. Sport Chrono does get you this Manatino style switch for your modes. Unlike the 911, which is a shame, but I do understand why they do it, you only have 3 gauges. Speedo, tack right in the middle, and the multimedia display to the right. Overall, I've been driving this car now for a few hours, and it's a lovely, lovely place to be. Getting out of these seats, it's also not super easy, but unless you have very bad mobility, you can do it. It's simply a matter of putting your hand right here and hoisting yourself out of the car. As I like to do, this is my first impressions because I want to show you my first impressions, so I do believe that those are the less filtered and the most authentic. This is going to be me driving the Boxster GTS with the 2.5 liter engine. As usual, a lovely little key in the shape of a 911. Okay. Startup. It does have a distinctive flat sound, but it doesn't sound as crisp as a 6-cylinder. That's because it's not a 6-cylinder, right? Now that the engine has dropped its revs, you can hear a more 4-cylinder sound to it. Exhaust closed. Let's open it. Okay, revs quickly. It sounds okay when I open the exhaust. Okay, it gets a little bit more. It gets a little bit more happy. Oh, steering column is electric. Okay. And the steering, it's fully extended towards me. I have a nice driving position. It's not perfect for me, as I would like 1 or 2 centimeters further back. That's what she said. The first task that I'm actually going to do is just drive around normally to see how it feels. I'm gonna leave the exhaust in exciting mode. Let's go. Yeah, the driving position is very, very low actually. Yeah, definitely I would want the seats to be a little bit further back. Okay, PDK is doing its thing. Works very nice. I'm actually going to close the window so that you can hear me a little bit better and so that I can test how insulated this car is. Ooh, it's very comfortable. Wow. I think this car is on 20-inch wheels. These are aftermarket but it does feel very comfortable in this regular setting. Perfect for everyday driving. Driving around regularly, it's very mellow, very easy to drive. The car feels very direct, feels very delicious actually. And I'm just driving around normally, not doing anything all that special. I'm still warming up the fluids, just trying to get a feel for it, to see how it is on an everyday basis. So you could drive this car every day as your only car if you did not have the need for a bigger car or more people to go with you around. Cobble. Now I'm driving on cobble. Yeah, it's very comfortable. These cars, so the comfort level that these cars have been offering it's incredible. This initial impression that I'm getting right here is that the engine feels, just driving around slowly, the engine feels not all that special. It has more than enough power just to drive around. It doesn't feel all that special, the sound that it makes. The way that it drives so far, it's perfectly fine. What could you expect actually from just stop and go traffic? I don't think you can expect much. I have AC on. It's keeping me perfectly comfortable. Let's get into manual mode. The car is warm, yeah. It's got a lot of torque. It's actually got a lot of torque to pull you out of situation. You don't really need to downshift, and you're hearing this engine right next to your ears. I'm trying to keep an open mind when it comes to, oh, I can overtake here. Wow. Yeah, that's fast. Going the speed limit, mind you. This engine does feel like it has more character up in the rev range. Despite being turbocharged, it does seem like it has a little bit more character at higher revs. The noise at low speeds there's no way around it. It's quite Subaru-like. In theory, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you expect a Porsche sports car to have a more refined sound, and the flat six does sound more refined than this. In terms of how it feels, the engine feels very strong. Fourth gear at 2000, it gets a move on, yeah. I didn't really feel much turbo lag there, to be honest. Third gear, 1600. Yeah, turbo lag. Okay, it starts getting more of a move on at around 2000. But it doesn't feel like that super pronounced. Jesus Christ. It doesn't feel like that super noticeable turbo lag. And I'm in regular mode, so very potent. It's got a lot of power actually. Let's put it in sport mode now. Yeah, now it's in sport mode. I think now it does some burbles. Red line is around 7,200 more or less, I think. When it goes past 7,000, it does seem to lose a little bit of emotion there, or power. It seems like it's just revving for the sake of revving, but this gearbox does wonders for the overall driving experience. I cannot say that I like the exhaust noise at low speed. At high speed, it's relatively okay. Driving around relatively slowly and just poodling along. At very low speeds, it feels a little bit rough, a little bit Subaru-y. Now, in terms of how connected it feels, does feel very connected. Steering it's absolutely delicious actually. And I'm just driving on a straight road for now, but the steering does feel very dialed in. The combination of PDK and this engine is a very good one actually. So simply as a tool, they're very well matched. It does seem like it. Wow. The rear end stepped out when I didn't think it would, probably because of the road surface and the tire still being a little bit on the cold side. The chassis of the car does feel very engaging, very interesting, very connected. And these seats, there is a very direct connection between my ass and the road surface. I like it. I'm in sport mode. Suspension is in comfort mode, or normal. And yeah, the car dynamically, it's really good. Speed bump. Okay, so the owner of this car just told me that this car is worth $85,000 roughly without the seats. And the seats, they are a pretty penny. So I'm gonna take that. Into my considerations, but just enjoying it now for the car that it is, without thinking about price, it's pretty darn good to drive. I don't know this road. It's the first time that I've come here. I need to reduce a little bit of traction here. Okay. Okay, now I'm in PSM Sport. I'm taking it relatively easy because I still don't know the car all that well, and I don't know the road, and I don't want to crash and have a very expensive bill. But the car is very good. Yeah, the car is very capable. Yeah, that's the thing. Porsche, they do it like no one else does. It's very good. Very good. Woo. Brake pedal. Brake pedal, I think, could feel ever so slightly better. It's not bad. Not bad by any means. It does seem like it wants to understeer a little bit. Second gear, this hairpin turn, enough torque. It's got more than enough torque. And the suspension it's bloody brilliant actually. Wow, I'm having so much fun right now. Okay. Big lorry. So I always say that I prefer a manual car, and this car comes as a manual as well with a 6-speed. I'm not entirely sure if I would be having as much fun. This car with this gearbox, it's a rocket, yeah, 8,300 more or less. Red line. The red line's more or less at 8,300. It's so stable, compressions. Ah, this is good. What? Jesus, it's so good. It's actually really good. Damn it! I hate trying good cars. Silly fast, and you can lean on the brakes. Gearbox is always there for you. Lovely PDK. Oh my. Air conditioning keeping me cool while I learn this road. In case this didn't come clear, this car is so good! Jesus! It's incredible, the balance. It's the first time I'm driving this car actually, and it fits like a glove. You learn the car so quickly. If you want to go fast without being overly scared, this car is so good. I had traction halfway off, I think. It's PSM Sport. I did not turn it all the way off as I do not want to pay 80,000 or more for this car. But the way that the car corners, the feedback that it gives you, the gearbox slightly quick, the engine very engaging. Yes, I do understand what people go on about when they say, oh, it's a 4-cylinder, it's not as refined. I do agree, it's not as refined. It's not an engine that will leave your mouth watering in the sense that the noise that it produces, it's so good. No, not that. Driving it quickly, it's a very engaging engine actually. It's very good. If you say that this engine isn't good, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. It's very rev happy. It has tons of power. Would I be having more fun with the 4-liter, which has roughly 400 horsepower, I think? I don't think so. Would I be as quick? I don't think so. Would my ears be more delighted to be driving that car? Well, yeah. When it comes to that, I do think that it would be much better. However, this little 2.5 liter Boxster 4, it's really good. It's really good. It's really good actually. Yeah. Porsche purists will nod their head at this engine, but as a tool, whew, it is a weapon. But suspension, the balance that the car offers you. Police. Wow, there they're not looking at me. How come they're not looking at me? Was this car not making any noises? Wow. I thought I was gonna get in trouble now. Ha! Got away with it! Yeah, funny story. On my way here, I was driving on the motorway. I overtook police doing the speed limit, and then police were following me. Regular stuff. Then I saw them getting closer and closer. Then they pulled up right beside me, and they just said, "Follow me." Yeah, it turns out my annual inspection was no longer valid, so I had to say goodbye to 250 euros. So I don't want to get another ticket today. You may find me a little bit on the dark side, but that's because I had to put my sunglasses on. And I do think that the only thing left to do for me to have the ultimate grasp of the Boxster is to actually drive with it with the roof down, which you can do up to God knows how many kilometers per hour while you're driving, which is always nice and convenient. Just driving along, normally there is wind coming inside the cabin, yes, but the amount of noise isn't all that much. I don't really drive or have driven many convertibles during my lifetime, actually, although they do have a certain appeal to me, at least in theory. What I do think we're gonna get is a more interesting experience because you get more noise inside of the cabin, you get more agitation. Driving around, normally it's very pleasant, it's still very comfortable, still very enjoyable. Doing city driving here, nothing out of the ordinary. One thing I want to mention is that this car has this preconceived idea by other people, which I do consider that they are not car people, which is that it's the poor person's Porsche. And I do think that if you think something like that, you are a fool, because this has nothing to do with poor anything. This car oozes quality. There's zero rattles inside. It drives absolutely incredible. Now let's put it in manual, let's put it in sport, and let's see if the fun factor increases by having the traction control off. Oops, no, not all off. Ha, I don't wanna go there today. Okay, PSM Sport, nice. Yeah, you can hear a lot more of the exhaust. Woo. Yeah. There's a lot of burbles. Ooh, speed bump. Who the hell put a speed bump on my test track? Yeah, but it is, the experience does increase significantly. You can hear a lot of the exhaust now, whereas before it was very muted with the top up. Now you can hear, it's like you have an engine here inside the car, or an exhaust. Again, the car is super composed. I mean, taking the roof off, I do think that it does nothing against structural rigidity. Journalists, they talk about torsional rigidity. I cannot, at least right now, feel anything in terms of structural rigidity being less than, let's say, a Cayman. Perhaps if I drove them back to back, I would feel. But right here, it feels rigid enough to me. It feels direct enough, super dialed in. Wow, this is a whole nother experience. The road's gonna get more fun. Woo! Hello! it wants to rotate without, I think the tires are still a bit cold, but it started rotating back there without much notice. I think that's the issue with it, mid-engine and short wheelbase. And of course this torque as well. I can tell that this car is probably tricky to drive on the limit without traction control on, but I mean, it's only been a few hours, so I'd love to know where the Porsche purists are right now, because if they were here, I doubt they would say that they're not having fun. True. It is a hell of a lot of fun. And having the top down and being able to hear that far louder. So I was going to say that you really need an exhaust on this car. And yeah, you could use an exhaust, but if you can drive with the top down, I mean, that's the poor man's exhaust. But you have all of this to enjoy. Yeah, now with the tires a bit warmer, the car does feel more planted. This front end is incredible, and that Tesla almost ate me for breakfast. These pops, they are lovely. Who said that this isn't a good car? Yes, I do understand that driving slowly, it isn't very special, and the engine isn't as sweet as a naturally aspirated engine. However, you'd be a fool not to pay attention and to consider this car. This car is 100% worth considering. Jesus. Poor person's Porsche, my ass. Wow. This really is a good experience. These pops, they don't seem artificial. They probably are, I'm guessing, but they feel supernatural actually. This was an experience and a half. It honestly was. I absolutely adored every single minute with this car. I think I can do some positives and negatives right now. Let me be perfectly clear. I'm struggling to find negatives with this car. I think the only negative, or not the only, but one of the negatives that's coming to my mind right now is the price. This is quite an expensive car, and for that money you're just getting a 4-cylinder. That is a bit of a shame, a letdown, because I like the idea of having multiple cylinders back there firing, and this does not have that. Other than that, perhaps not having 4 seats can be a bit of a compromise, but if you're looking into this car, you already know what you're getting. So I'm sorry, I'm struggling to find drawbacks. Perhaps another negative is that it does seem more snappy than, for example, my M3. My M3 is more progressive the way that it starts sliding. It lets you know, okay, I'm losing grip, whereas this, woo, grip has gone. For now, that's it. Positives. the way that it drives absolutely amazing. Corners super nicely. You feel like the car is rotating around you. It's delicious the way it corners. The engine at high revs, it's very good. It does not sound as nice as a 6-cylinder naturally aspirated, but that's to be expected, I think. Nonetheless, it still sounds interesting. It's got some burbles, it's got some pops. At higher RPMs, it does reward you for driving quickly. It revs very happily. It's got a ton of power, it's got a ton of torque. Just feels a little bit cheap when you're driving it slowly. It feels not very polished, but driving quickly, it feels amazing. Gearbox as well. This PDK is incredible. I wouldn't need to test a manual GTS. If you have one, let me know. I will love to test it. For this type of driving I've been doing today, for casual driving, just having your head under the sun, enjoying and listening to some exhaust, it's very good, the PDK. Very good. Another positive to me, I do think that this car is very beautiful. It's not the prettiest of 718s. I do think that the Spider RS takes the cake. It's, to me, in my mind, it's the car I would love to have. But especially with the mods that the owner did, it does look incredible. The badge appeal is real. You do feel like you're driving something special. Every time you go out of the car, every time you come in the car, it feels special. It feels very polished. It has nice materials all around. It is a lovely place to be. To summarize everything, this car is incredible. It does have a few drawbacks, engine being one of them, but only at low RPMs, at least to me. Chassis-wise, engine-wise, it is a wonderful package. If you are in the market for this type of car and you have the budget and you don't mind forking out how much this car costs in your country, go and test drive one. I think you will enjoy it. I really enjoyed my time with this car. It's very practical, 2 trunks, it's very usable. You have roof up, roof down. AC was absolutely incredible the whole day. I'm actually very much impressed with this car. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider subscribing, as it helps me tremendously as I'm trying to reach 1 million followers. And I'll see you on the next one.